Welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing something a little bit different because I'm actually not recording on my webcam. I am recording on my phone so I can give you guys an actual office tour as a celebration for reaching 1 million subscribers. The office tour is finally here. I've been teasing it for a while. I planned on doing it months and months and months ago, and then stuff happened, which I will explain. Hopefully I'll remember to explain later in this video. But now it is finally happening. So let me take you to the entryway to my office so we can have a walk in to see what it looks like when I actually walk into my office, and then I'll go through everything as far as my setup and what's behind me here and the stuff you don't normally see in the videos because they are outside of the camera perspective. Alright, so this is the front door to my office when I'm recording. This is what it looks like from the outside. You can probably see my reflection a little bit in the glass there. But let's go ahead and open the door and walk on in. So from the doorway, this is what that looks like. We got the guitar wall. We got the backdrop that you guys are used to seeing. We got couch over there where the TV little lounge area. And then we've got my desk as well. Now, normally, I do not sit when I record. I have a sit-stand desk here, so if I go over and press button number 2 here, you will see it actually raises up. Just like that. There we go. And I normally just move the chair off to the side over there, out of the way. And then I'll just be standing here recording, but in order to record, we gotta turn the recording lights on. So I got a stream deck over here. If I hit this button, then my recording lights turn on, and then I got bright lights on my face until I'm done recording. I am standing in every single one of my recordings, pretty much. I just feel like I have better energy while I'm standing. So I think I'm gonna start with my actual computer desk setup. Then we will move on to like the rest of the room, and we will end with this backdrop behind me, and I'll go into more detail with the stuff that you've been seeing and stuff that usually isn't in like the frame of the camera that you may have missed. Alright, so as far as my computer setup goes, I've got 3 27-inch monitors, I believe, all identical monitors, just set up side by side, just like that. Very meticulously tried to line them up so that there wasn't like a gap in between them, but well, I didn't do that great here apparently, but you know, it happens. As far as my keyboard, I got the Corsair RGB, you know, letters and bunch of letters and numbers, whatever that is. The mouse though is more important to me because I am very particular about what I want in a mouse, and this is, at least the last time I looked for a mouse, this was the only one that met all of the requirements. And this is the Logitech G604. And what I wanted in a mouse was I needed at least 4 thumb buttons, because I use them regularly for certain games, but also even just web browsing. I always have page forward and page back. Like that's how I navigate page forward and page back when it comes to web browsing. But other than thumb buttons, I use the DPI buttons a lot, so this raises and lowers my DPI, and I use that mainly for when I'm making thumbnails in Photoshop. If I'm going to be tracing the outline of something or like drawing anything, then lowering the DPI to minimum gives me way more precision, so I really like having that feature. And then the other feature is having a scroll wheel release, so it has just the infinite scroll option where it can just keep on scrolling. So those are very important to me, and this mouse has all of that in one. What I have here is normally my phone sits right here in front of me. This is a wireless charging dock right here, so my phone always stays charged and visible in case I'm getting any important notifications. As far as my audio setup goes, my mic sits right here. It's out of the way when I'm not recording, and then when I want to record, I just spin it over and drop it right here in front of me. So this is what it looks like when I'm actually recording. And then I just put my face up to this mic as I'm looking at my monitors. So this is the Shure SM7B attached to a Rode PSA-1 arm. Super sturdy arm, had it for many, many years, and it is super solid. Never failed me once. Then this is hooked up, I got the arm going down, going behind my monitors, and it is hooked up into a preamp processor. You can see if I bring the mic over to my face, Blop, blop, blop. Da, la, 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 la. It is being fed into this processor, which gives it some compression, some de-essing, and some noise gate built into the microphone signal before it even gets to my computer, which saves a lot of headache later on. And then that is going into this audio interface. Now, most people seem to have like the Focusrite audio interfaces. If you know anything about audio interfaces, the Focusrite seems to be like the go-to beginner one. And I did start on that one, but it was giving me a bunch of issues on and off for a while. And ever since I got this one, which I believe is the Steinberg UR242, no issues with this one whatsoever. Seems a lot more Windows friendly. Focusrite seems more Mac friendly. So that's my experience with those. Oh, and this thing, in case you were wondering, is the DBX 286S. You know, these companies really gotta come up with some more catchy names for their things instead of letters and numbers. I feel like I'm typing in a password every single time I want to look up one of these things. All right, and then of course I use the streamer deck mostly for recording. I don't really like, I have a bunch of stuff up here that's obsolete now that I don't use, but I can like mute myself and deafen myself in Discord. I open up OBS, I open up my screen recording software, which is PlayClaw, and then when I press this record button, it activates both of them separately, like in like a sequence, so that they don't interfere with each other when I press record. And then this button actually controls my like lights. So all these lights in the background, if I press that button, they all turn off. And when I press it again, they hopefully all turn on. And sometimes they do better than others. Thankfully for the video, they did good this time. As far as my speaker setup goes, I got these KRK, the Rocket 5s, super popular, very, very common. You'll see those a lot. I don't have the subwoofer or anything, I just got these two speakers. One thing I like about this audio, having an audio interface like this, is these two knobs. This controls my speaker volume, which I have at minimum right now because I was using my headphones last, and this controls my headphone volume. So if I want to switch from headphones to speakers, I don't have to. They are both always available, even simultaneously, and I love that aspect of this. And you can see this cable's coming out behind my desk because it is going to my headphones, which are anchored right here with this fancy little hook. And these are the Audio-Technica letters and numbers. ATH M50X. Yeah, and really convenient hookup there. Nice long cable so I don't get, you know, short cabled and pulled off my head as I'm walking around and reacting. And then super important feature, probably the most important feature, which has saved me a few times, is this right here. This is a CyberPower UPS, or uninterruptible power supply. And I have the essentials to my recording are all hooked up in there. So first thing being my PC is hooked up into that. Just my central main monitor is hooked up into that. All of my audio stuff is hooked up into that. So if the power goes out during a recording, I will actually still be able to finish the recording because my PC will switch on to backup power supply. The two side monitors will turn off, the lights will turn off, which is a big like warning flag for me that hey, the power went out, you have a limited amount of time. And you'll see it you've seen it in videos in the past if you've been watching pretty consistently. What? Oh boy, my power just went out.
Your actual power, like your electricity.
Electricity in my whole house just went out. But my microphone will continue recording, my computer will continue recording my software, and I also have, back behind the couch there is where my Wi-Fi is hooked up and all that, and that's hooked into a much less industrial UPS. It's just like a power strip that is also has a backup battery. So if the power goes out, my Wi-Fi also stays on. So I should be able to finish even a multiplayer recording, or at least like do a quick wrap up, because I only get like 10 minutes of battery on that thing because the computer is pretty hefty. And then I have a super secret, actually before we get to that, down over to the left here, this is just a stack of external hard drives, which I use to back up all of my recordings. I'll put those on the external hard drive. every few months or so to make some room for, you know, recording the folders on my actual local drive. Oh, and then this is the webcam I'm recording with, and it's on right now because I actually had, when I'm recording, I always have this on this monitor so I can see myself, and I had that open so when I started the video, I could compare my frame for looking at me and tried to make it as similar to what you guys are used to seeing when I start a video. But that is what I always see when I'm recording, and then I have the game right here in front of my face. All right, then I got a super secret thing under the desk here. If I reach under and pull and twist, use this to help with audio production, and it raises up as well and hooks up to the desk. So when I'm making music for the Catarinth channel, if you weren't aware, I do have a music channel where I make different types of metal music, symphonic metal, electronic metal, heavy metal, prog metal. Still working on songs. I have like 5 songs in the works right now that I've had writer's block on. I just have a bunch of unfinished stuff, but I have a lot of stuff that is being worked on all the time. But I use this to help with audio production. Hooked up directly into the computer and easily put away. It's easier with 2 hands, but yep, I can just tuck it under the desk and it just lives under the desk, out of the way. So then over here is my computer. So my plan, this is actually what delayed the original office tour. When I planned on doing it earlier, I have over here this thing leaning against the wall behind the shredder. I have a paper shredder here. So this thing is supposed to be an extension to the desk. It's supposed to attach right on the end of the desk, and I planned on putting my computer on that because when you have a raising and lowering desk, one of the difficult things is cable management, because all of this stuff is hooked into the computer. So all of this stuff is going to move up and down with the cables, and if the computer is not also on the desk, that means the cables do not move with the computer, with all of this stuff. And that can cause some issues, so I have it very precisely hooked up here where you can see the cables just narrowly miss the corner of the desk, and there's just a little bit of a gap here between the edge of my computer. And if I needed to like get behind my computer, I have this spinning stand here, so I can just do this, and then I can easily reach the back of my computer. And I am noticing right now that I need to clean off some of that dust. My computer probably needs to be dusted at some point. But yeah, I have to be very careful that this goes back in this position so that when I raise the desk, that this corner hopefully does not catch the cables and make my computer come tumbling down. But as you can see, it is a very finely tuned system here. Look at that clearance. But I haven't actually had any issues with that. And this desk, I know from experience, from mistakes I've made in the past, that the motor has like a failsafe where if it detects an abnormal resistance, it will automatically stop. So it's not just gonna flip over my computer if it catches the edge of it or something. As far as my actual computer goes, if you want to see the inside of it, this is what it looks like. I mean, I'm not gonna go into all the specs. I think if you check a link in my description, you'll see the specs. I think they're relatively up to date. Got a controller for if I ever do any controller-based games. And then this whole, like, I wanted to get rid of this whole thing. I just have a bunch of, like, random stuff here. Just a bunch of excess things, like backup things, like cables and whatever. But I wanted to get rid of that and just have the computer on the desk. And so here, oh yeah, I didn't finish the story about why this is relevant to me not doing the original office tour. So I wanted the computer to be on the desk, as I explained. But what happened was I did it, I installed the thing, I put it on the desk, I put the computer on there, everything was set to go, and then I pressed the button to raise the desk, and only this side raised up, and this side did not raise up, and the whole desk was at a slant like that, and I was like, oh no, I have broken my entire setup, this is terrible. So I promptly removed the computer from the desk, leveled out the motors again, and realized my computer is actually too heavy to be on the desk, so that whole thing failed. And this was around the time I was planning to do my office tour, and I just really wanted that to be, I wanted to finish that before I did the office tour, and it failed, so I never did the office tour. So that is why the office tour has been delayed until now. Okay, so I think that pretty much covered. Oh, I got the cool, the Triforce Zelda. Zelda's one of my favorite games of all time. Just overall, mostly all of the 3D games, some of the handheld ones. So I got a Zelda poster or disc plate right there on the wall behind my computer. I think I've pretty much covered everything I have in my computer setup. So let's move on to the rest of the room. So over here is the mini gaming lounge. So we got like a recliner right here. It's got like some mini tables and cup holders, and TV right here, which also does have an HDMI hookup to my computer. So if I wanted to duplicate a screen onto a computer, like if I had some company over and I wanted to show them some stuff without them just like standing behind me or like trying to get a comfortable view, I can just cast it over here, and that's pretty convenient. But also got a switch hooked up here with a dock, so we can just have nice reclining gaming session in my office as well. Also the walls are all treated with this acoustic carpet. So this just makes it so that there's very minimal echo bouncing around in the office. Floor to ceiling, floor is like real carpet, but wall to ceiling is this acoustic carpet, and it works great. It's not soundproofing, it is sound dampening, so it dampens the echoes and stuff. Also, ceiling fan, really important for an office like this, because when I close the door and I start recording, the computer generates a lot of heat. Office gets a lot hotter than the rest of the house, but I just turn the fan on and the airflow makes a huge difference. So really, really happy with the ceiling fan. Yeah, so that is this setup over here. We got some more posters on the wall from Displate that kind of represent things that appeal to me. All right, we're gonna skip this for now because that's really dense with a bunch of stuff. And we're gonna go to the guitar wall, plus keyboard. So I fiddle around on this keyboard sometimes, so I'm trying to come up with ideas for making music. If you've seen my music video, the Void Hollow music video on the Catarinth channel, you will recognize this guitar from that video. There were two different colored guitars in that video. One was white and one was like a dark color, because there were two different scenes in the video. One in a very bright white setting and one in a dark, like underwater style setting. So I wanted two different guitars to two different color guitars to kind of fit those settings. And fun fact, they are both this guitar. So this is a 7-string guitar, and if you look close, you will see that this is actually just a vinyl sticker that I meticulously cut out and applied to this thing. These are actually five different cut out sections that I like cut along the grooves to then stick to this. And the texture that you see under the strings here is the original color of the guitar. Because I called all around Vegas, all the guitar centers, all like the music shops, asking if anybody had a white 7-string guitar so I could have a white and a black 7-string guitar in the video. And nobody had a white 7-string guitar. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. So I found this texture, printed it out, cut it into segments so I could apply it, and I just didn't want to deal with putting it under the strings. So I just kept it like that, and I think it looks good enough. But yeah, if you look closely, especially right here is where it's most obvious. This is actually a gap in between the two parts of the stickers, and you can see I didn't get it to line up perfectly there. But I think this texture was forgiving enough to be able to allow for those kind of mistakes. Yeah, I think even right here, this is a cut between two different sections as well. So that was a very interesting process. Then I got another guitar here. This is a 6-string that is tuned to like drop B. I think that one's tuned to drop G normally. But this is where I think my first, my EP, the Catarinth EP, was mostly on this guitar. Anything that's not tuned down super low to drop, I think Daedalus was tuned to drop G on that thing, but I think most of the other songs were on this one. And then all of the songs have this for the bass that I played. This is a 5-string bass. This is a guitar that I don't really use much anymore because the quality is just not that great. But I did use it as a test piece when I was trying to figure out how to make a white guitar. This is just a bunch of strips I cut out manually and just placed them, seeing if it would look cool, and I didn't like it, so I abandoned it and figured out that way to do it instead. And then this is just an acoustic guitar that's a really, really old acoustic guitar that I got a long time ago when I went to college because I couldn't take my electric guitars with me to college. So to the right of my desk, I just have some random shelves here with a bunch of random stuff on them. This is actually pretty interesting because these are all little Hot Wheels. These are actually my childhood Hot Wheels. I had these as like a very, very little kid, like under 10 years old. And I played with these as a kid. And my mom sent them to me recently, and I was able to kind of look through them and get the nostalgia of remembering all the different shapes of cars that I used to play with. So that was pretty fun. Oh, you want to see something crazy here? Look at this. I'm going to show how old I am. This is an old school iPod. This is how I used to listen to music. Well, I mean, this was actually like new tech when I was listening to music. The whole iPod concept. I mean, I burned CDs back in the day. I had a tape recorder back in the day, but this is also still, like nowadays, this is old. Little old Kurzgesagt calendar there. All right, what else? I think we are about ready to move on to the backdrop. So I'm probably not gonna like go into every single little thing, but I will get everything on camera. So if you want to like pause and like try to pick out all the references, feel free. I got my 100,000 play button up there. The million is processing. I have sent in the application to receive the $1 million play button. I have no idea how long it's gonna take, so I'm not waiting around to record this video for it. But I'll probably, you know, post a picture or something at some point when it comes in. So all around the desk, you'll find random ducks. These ducks are themed ducks from different like games or series that I have a connection to, and these are Metal Gear Solid ducks. Metal Gear Solid was one of my favorite PlayStation games, Metal Gear Solid 2 in particular. Really enjoyed that one. We got some Elden Ring things here. We've got a Catarinth mug. Get your own Catarinth mug if you want. That's an Alaska mug from Alaska, when my wife went to Alaska. We got Horizon merch, we got God of War ducks, we got Flashbulb mug. Oh, this is an interesting story. So this used to be my water bottle that I would take water with me to go climbing outdoors. And guess what happened? It rolled off a cliff, and I got it back, and this is what it looked like. And I wanted to keep it for the story. I mean, nothing, like, fortunately, I did not roll off the cliff. It was just the water bottle. It was just a simple thing. You know, a lot of times in climbing outdoors, you're standing near cliffs and stuff, but the water bottle got knocked over and then very slowly rolled closer and closer to the cliff, and, you know, you just can't go chase after something like that, so I just let it fall off rather than risking my life. And that's what happened to it. It was a pretty long fall. All right, what else we got here? We got Kirby. This is actually a Kirby I got at Comic-Con. You may see in various points a bunch of like playing cards. I used to do sleight of hand magic a long time ago, back in the day before I started YouTube, so I got a lot of playing cards left over. This is a climbing thing. This is a crimp mug, just for the meme. A little climbing hold for the mug. Up here, so all of this stuff is like 3D printed stuff sent in by a fan that is all like channel themed. That's an actual mug though. The actual mug goes on the 3D printed suspension piece. If you want to get your own mug, suspension not included, you can go to scrapman.store. This is the Ferrari I built with Yuzi when I was in Denmark visiting the Trailmakers devs. There's a video on his channel of us doing the build and a little bit of a Q&A. We got a Chirpo from the Trailmakers devs. Looks like a Fallout duck. We got some Discord merch from, they sent me for being a Discord partner. This is like the Zelda shelf. As I said, Zelda is one of my favorite series. So see if you can get all the Zelda references here. We even got like a Zelda themed Switch controller, ocarina, little music box. Do you know what song that is? Does it actually say it? Oh, it does say it on there. Never mind. But if you knew the notes from the old school N64 game. So yeah, a bunch of Zelda stuff. Down here is some Pokemon stuff. So fun fact, these Pokemon cards I actually pulled when I was a kid. These are like my like back when the original 150 were the Pokemon. I got these from the Pokemon packs. They aren't like the shadowless, like super valuable ones. These are not that. I don't know what packs those were in compared to these, but these are the ones I got as a kid. And I have a whole stack of like old Pokemon cards from the first 2 generations. And I pulled these out because, you know, they're the first 3. And then of course Mewtwo is also an iconic character. Oh, what are you doing so close to the edge here? You're gonna fall. There we go. Yeah, a couple other Pokemon here. Then we got the Pikachu, iconic Pikachu chalk bag right in the center of my backdrop. And new thing, these carabiners, these actually were sent to me by the Cairn developers. If you guys haven't seen the video of Cairn on my channel, it is an awesome video. But they sent me, as a thanks for playing their game, they sent me these carabiners and some stickers. The stickers I put on one of my climbing, my new water bottle that is not destroyed. That was really cool of them. Very much appreciative of that. And yeah, we got another orange carabiner here. And then, of course, the Pikachu chalk bag, which does, I think, still have some chalk in it. Okay, moving on. We got some Funko Pops. We got some Fallout stuff. We got a Denmark duck that we actually got in Denmark when visiting the devs. My wife built this little ScrapMan out of wood here. This is a fun artifact of ancient history. This is a GoPro Hero 2. I think they're on like 10 or 11 now. I don't even know. But this is my first GoPro that I had back in the day when I was filming like slackline videos and like juggling videos, like first person and stuff. Some old school Trailmakers merch back in like the early days. What are these Last of Us ducks? We got the 1x1 block. The bottom shelf is mostly like computer peripherals, like spare parts for computer and stuff. But we do have an Astroneer backpack. The Astroneer devs sent that to me. We got a Uzi hat down there. Fun little thing. I really like these. These are just like tiny extension cables, but these are actually super useful. If you ever have a bunch of adapters or like plugs that are like the big blocky plugs that you gotta plug into outlets, and you're trying to plug a bunch of them into a power supply, but they keep blocking the other outlets, just get some of these. These things solve that problem so well. Makes it so much easier just to have a bunch of big blocky plugs into a single power supply. Oh, and then of course, fire extinguisher for, you know, safety. In case anything lights on fire, easily accessible fire extinguisher. Then I think, yeah, over there we got curtains that lead to the outdoors. I have like a sliding door that leads into the backyard. And I think, did I miss anything in here? I think I pretty much covered the whole room. So I did say that I was going to do an office tour and a home climbing gym tour, because in case you weren't aware already, if you look at my shorts, you'll see teasers and sneak peeks of it. But I did build a climbing gym in my garage recently. It's been amazing. I've been using it a couple times a week. And I do want to do a climbing gym tour, but I think that's going to be its own video, because this video is already long enough as it is. And the climbing gym video is going to have its own length. So I think I'm gonna do a dedicated climbing gym tour video. So let me know what you'd like to see with that. Do you want to see some like route setting? Do you want to see some climbing? Or do you just want like a tour? Like, what do you want to see in that? Let me know down in the comments below. And I want to thank you all again for 1 million subscribers. It's not something I really anticipated. I wasn't even like tracking it really. It just kind of like snuck up on me. I wasn't really even ready for it, but it's kind of amazing that it just happened. You know, I just waited and it happened. So thanks again for everybody that subscribed and everyone who's been watching over the years from the beginning. This has been an amazing experience so far, and it's not over yet. Just along for the ride, seeing where it goes. Just pushing buttons and seeing what happens on this computer right here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.